To all of those Bernie Sanders voters who have been left out in the cold by a rigged system of superdelegates, we welcome you with open arms.
Whether you supported me or Senator Sanders or one of the Republicans, we all need to keep working toward a better, fairer, stronger America.
The two presumptive nominees vying for voters who back Bernie. Trump is anti-establishment like Sanders and promising to stop business as usual in Washington and take on crony capitalism. But on the flip side, Hillary's pushing more pro-socialist type programs like Bernie, paid by tax hikes on the wealthy. So who would be better for Bernie backers and the rest of us? Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Bolling. Welcome to Cashing In. Our Cashing In crew this week: Mercedes Schlapp, Gina Loudon, and Eboni Williams. Welcome, everybody. Decisions for Sanders supporters. I'll start with you, Gina. Who should they turn to, these Bernie supporters? Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, and why?
Come on over to the cool kids side, Bernie supporters, because this is why. Because if you vote for Hillary Clinton, you're voting for more of the same. You're voting for an establishment candidate. You're voting for someone who's not going to really do any of the changes that are going to make life better for you, like jobs. I think that's kind of an important one, and I think that that's what should matter most to Bernie supporters. And also, don't forget this: they hate Wall Street, and Hillary's taken all this Wall Street money for speeches and still hasn't disclosed the transcripts. There's something fishy there, Eric.
Yeah, very good, very good. Eboni, so let's play a little devil's advocate right here. So Hillary Clinton, Democrat, Bernie Sanders, Democrat, but that outsider thing, that anti-establishment thing is the kind of topic of 2016. Is there a case that Hillary can make and should make to the Bernie Sanders supporters?
Yes, she should be making it, Eric. And I don't know really what's taken her so long. I count at least 3 of the last post-primary night Trump speeches, unapologetically direct, to the point, asking specifically for the Bernie Sanders support to come his way. And I think that's smart of Trump. I don't really know why Hillary's not being specific about it.
What should she do?
She should be so specific. She should say, look, I understand that you feel like you have been shut out of this process and your candidate is not our nominee. However, please trust that I will be the candidate to talk about your issues, to talk about your concerns, and push it forward in my White House. She's not doing that, Eric. It's too generic, and she needs to get specific with these people.
What do you say, Mercedes? Is there a case that Hillary can make? Because I think that a lot of us here would say these Bernie Sanders supporters are unnatural for Donald Trump. The outsider, the never Trump people, well, the never Hillary, they happen to be never Hillary. They would likely go to a Trump, I would think. However, let's play devil's advocate here. Hillary, what should she do to get the Bernie Sanders supporters?
Well, first, I think she should probably tattoo "Feel the Burn" on her arm. That would be the first thing I would do. But no, Eric, I really think what Hillary Clinton needs to do is focus on the trade group, the group of supporters that are focused on the trade policies. She's not going to win those guys over. I could see those naturally fitting with Donald Trump. But there are the social justice issues, the climate change issues. There are these other issues that are important to the Bernie Sanders supporters that they really want to see more of government in their lives, and more in government creating or helping to solve these problems in what you would say the world problems like climate change. So I do think that for Clinton, her focus on the climate specifically, on let's say just the social justice issues alone, that is where I think she could garner the support. But again, many of these Bernie supporters have a very negative image of Hillary Clinton.
Go ahead, Eboni.
I think that's really true, Mercedes. And I think, again, her kind of continuing to ignore them when she does have the spotlight and the microphone doesn't help. You know, again, at least Trump is talking to them. Now, talking ain't necessarily getting, so we'll see how it plays out. But at least he's saying, I see you, I recognize your concerns, and I'm here to address them. Hillary's got to do the same thing.
Yeah, now, Gina, also this primary process all the way straight through, Bernie Sanders has not attacked Hillary Clinton hard. He hasn't hit her hard with the negative ads and whatnot. And they have a lot of similar issues. Like, I think Hillary said she'd be looking for somewhere around a $12 an hour minimum wage. Bernie says 15. Income inequality. We know Bernie Sanders supporters, they're young people. They're looking for a lot of free stuff. She may be able to offer those types of things.
Yeah, but, you know, it really, everything I heard you list off, Eric, actually brings me right back to the whole jobs question. Because the only jobs that Hillary and the Obama administration have or will create are going to be mostly government jobs. They've destroyed manufacturing. They've destroyed, even some of the computer stuff, the intelligence stuff. And so those are real jobs. Government jobs are not real jobs. And the kind of jobs that Donald Trump will create are real jobs that I think would benefit them in the long long run. They might have to do a little bootstraps, but Eric, I think they're up for the challenge.
Ebony, you disagree with the
Well, I
assessment
don't know how
on
they're not real
government
jobs, Dr. Gina. I think those federal checks are clearing straight through the bank. So I think the people that have those jobs would beg to disagree. But all right.
Because, Ebony, those jobs go away when the government power, the government money goes away. If anyone ever does decide to cut the $19 trillion debt hanging around the necks of many of these Bernie supporters, then they're not going to be able to just make all these ridiculous government jobs that don't ever result in a future for these people.
That, but I just think
the real
when you want a job,
the real jobs are what
sometimes
matter.
those distinctions don't matter as much. But go ahead.
Well, and I think Gina, I don't want to speak for Gina, but Ebony, the distinction is that when you, in a private sector, you create something, you get paid for creating something, and that's a job, that's an organic job. In the government, you're not really creating anything. You're creating a demand for your services, but that's about it.
That makes sense. I'm just talking about when you're hungry and you just want something to put food on the table, then maybe those distinctions don't matter
I think there are definitely very hard federal government, state government, local government workers that really try to advance the good of our society. There's too much government and there's too much bureaucracy. Let's just make it from there. But I just want to pivot back to Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton will have a problem carrying the mantle of Bernie Sanders' revolution. That will be her biggest challenge. And the economy itself is not going to be enough, because what's the difference? Hillary Clinton does not come across authentic. Bernie Sanders does.
So Mercy, stay right there. Let's bring it around. Let's channel our inner Bernie Sanders supporter, someone probably under 30 years old, may or may not be working, laden with a lot of student debt, and now you can't choose Bernie Sanders anymore. You have either Hillary or Donald. Mercy, start with you. Who are you going to vote for and why?
Well, I think for the millennials, it's a challenge because they don't necessarily connect with the Hillary Clinton. I think for millennials, they want to have that connection with the candidate. With that being said, Donald Trump has an uphill battle in trying to convince these millennials that capitalism, that investing in America, that creating jobs is the way to go through the private sector. Because let me tell you, there is this concern between what our young people are learning in academia, when they get their degrees, and they're basically saying, well, I don't have a job, and understanding that capitalism is a much better system that works instead of socialism.
All right, let me go to Ebony. Ebony, now you're a millennial. You just graduated from Cal Berkeley. You're living with 4 other people. You ride your bike everywhere you want to go. Awesome. You don't have a lot of money, a lot of student debt. You were a Bernie Sanders supporter. Now your choices are Trump or Hillary. Who are you voting for?
Well, I'm certainly going to look at Hillary. I'm not going to, look at Trump. Hillary's not an automatic for me. I think Mercedes is happening some good things here, certainly the capitalism. But see, this is where Trump has got to sell it. Millennials are very risk adverse. They're very scared to kind of bet on themselves and kind of go out there in the real world and these capitalistic environments and make a name and be better than the next person. Trump's got to go out there and say, look, I did it. You can do it too. I'll show you how. Maybe that's a message that can resonate.
Okay, I'll leave it to you now, Gina. Finish up the block here. You're the, let's see, where are you? You're an NYU graduate, and you don't even have a bike. You just Uber around, and you also have a lot of student debt, not a lot of money. You just want to go and, I don't know, maybe smoke some weed in Central Park. Who are you going to vote for?
Well, those are all freedom issues. Think about the Uber that I take every day. That's definitely a freedom issue. It's definitely about a job that doesn't go away when government actually reduces the debt strapped around my neck. And I think there's this too. Donald Trump, remember, when he made the statements about building the wall, he was at like a 4%. The minute he made those, a couple weeks later, after he communicated his motives with the American people, those numbers continued to go up. We look at his numbers going up with Hispanics. That's happening right now as he is actually having a conversation with those people that only Donald Trump can do in an only Donald Trump way. The rest of us don't get it, but it works. I think when he starts to have a conversation with these millennials, Eric, we're going to see some interesting things happen.
Very interesting. I agree with that.
If you're smoking pot, you're voting for the libertarian Gary Johnson, okay?
Oh, let's not even talk about that guy. Do we have to?
Unless
How
you
is
don't
he
want to
getting
throw your vote
11%?
away.
That's crazy. I'm going to leave it right there. Coming up, as Trump and